This conference will now be recorded.
Hello, welcome. We're going to get going in just a second. If you wouldn't mind just chatting in and letting me know if you can hear and see the screen. We'll get going here in just a second. Let's see. Okay, it looks like my screen is being shared. All right, thanks, Laurel. Okay, we're going to get going here, guys. Thank you for joining us. And for those who are here live, and also we really appreciate, we're getting a lot of people watching the recording. So I understand that we can't ever pick a time that works perfectly for everybody, but hopefully a lot of you are able to get on live, and those who aren't can watch the recordings. So over the last, this is like I think the fourth week we've done this. We're going to be doing it every week. We've talked about, let's see, in the first week we talked kind of about making little minor adjustments in order to see a big breakthrough in your business. And I shared a story about the Lakers and their coach, how at the end of the season, when they thought they'd win the championship and they didn't, they kind of set some goals, and it was for every player to find one or two or three areas in their game that they could make little improvements, just maybe 1 or 2 or 3% improvements. And what they found is that by everybody making little improvements in a few areas, it made a huge impact on the overall team and the stats of the team. And they went on to win the NBA championship that year and the following year. And they really directly attribute a lot of their great results to making these little adjustments. So we've been talking about how we do that. And if you haven't had a chance to look at watch all of the videos, I'd encourage you to go back and go through them. They're about 30 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes each. We're trying to keep these to about 30 minutes. So today we're going to talk about something. You see on the screen some Japanese characters, and that Japanese, the characters say Kaizen. And Kaizen is a concept you may or may not have heard of, and in the US we kind of translate it to continuous improvement. And a lot of companies use this system of Kaizen, which is continuous improvement. And what it is just constantly evaluating and reevaluating your business in order to continually get better and improve. And Thrive Life Corporate uses this. They use it in their warehouse. They use it in other things, other areas. And it's something they're constantly reevaluating. What can they do better? How can they improve things? And like I say, a lot of companies use this. My background was in supply chain logistics, and it's a big concept in that. It was really discovered or implemented originally by Toyota in Japan, and the Toyota manufacturing process, and it's become something that's been adopted by companies all over the world now. So let's see, so it means continuous improvement. So what we're going to talk about today, we talked last week, we asked everybody to pick one or two, well, two areas of their business that they could work on it. We brainstormed through different ideas of things you could do to improve or to grow the number of customers you acquire, the number of new consultants you enroll, the number of team members, how your number of team members increases, and then how you can adjust or improve or add value, increase the value that each customer and team member brings to your business. So we asked you to brainstorm a lot of those ideas. And if you haven't done that, you can go back and do that later. But we came up with a lot of ideas of things you could do to improve. And Lisa picked a couple. One was to talk to 2 people every day, right, about the business.
Right.
And one was to send out a weekly newsletter. We've sent newsletters out to our customers for a long time, but try and become more consistent about doing it every week. That was one of yours, and I think you had one other, didn't you?
Yeah, I made a goal to talk to 5 people about the business every week.
Wait, I thought
New
it was
people.
2 every day. It was 2 every day.
That's right, 2 every day.
Okay. Didn't you have something else? Didn't you have a third one?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I had follow up with team.
Oh, follow up with team members. That was another one, to have check-ins with your team members. Okay, so we're going to talk about this concept of, so what we asked you to do is to identify a couple of areas to work on, and then get an accountability partner that you could check in with each week. If you haven't done that, it's not too late. Just to back up a little, I think I talked about this last week. I'm involved in another business, and I have a check-in call every Tuesday with my accountability partner. And I honestly, for a long time, I would dread that call because I knew I had to basically go over what I committed to the week before. And if I hadn't done it, it was like, oh gosh, I gotta say I didn't do it. And what, you know, and I would really dread it. But what I found is over time, I've been doing it now for about a year, that it really forces me to do what I say I'm gonna do, and to make progress and make improvement every week. And it's really been a good thing for me, even though I still don't love it, but it forces me to make continuous improvement. And so that's what this idea is. And so we really want to encourage you to get that accountability partner and start implementing this in your business. So today we're going to talk about how that call will go. Before we get into that, I want to talk a little bit about this concept of integrity. Now, most of us think of integrity as this definition: a firm adherence to moral and ethical principles. Basically, you know, a lot of people think of integrity about like honesty or doing what you say you're going to do. And that is one definition of integrity. But what we're going to talk about today is the other definition. And that is a state of being whole or complete, undivided. So we think about this in structural engineers use this term, structural integrity. And that's more of the definition we're going to be using here. And so if you look at this bridge is in Taiwan, and it's so beautiful that they have made postcards out of it. And you can see these cables going up. These cables hold the bridge up. So you would say, if you saw this bridge, you would say that this bridge has integrity, or it has structural integrity, and you would be okay driving across it, right? Well, what if one of these cables started to rust and was ready to break, and you saw that before you were going to drive across the bridge? Would you be willing to go driving across it with your family?
Heck no.
If you saw some of the cables were rusted and ready to break? Well, this is what happened to that that bridge when the cables rusted and broke. The bridge collapsed, and there was actually a truck going across this and fell on top of one of the fishing boats in this little harbor in Taiwan. So when you think about integrity today, I want you to think of this term: a state of being whole or complete. So we're going to talk about how on this check-in call each week, you're going to make sure that your business, that you're whole or complete in it. Okay, so I want to talk about, we talked about this last week, process for continuous improvement. Choose 2 things to work on each week. From that list, you brainstorm ideas of things you can do to improve your different areas of your business. Don't worry about how you're going to accomplish them when you're brainstorming. Just come up with a whole bunch of ideas. We've gone through that exercise. Then each week we're going to reevaluate. Then we're going to, if both of those things are working, if you pick 2 things to work on and they're working really well, then you're going to add 1 new thing. If something isn't working, then you're going to drop that and replace it with something new. Okay, so here's the process we're going to go through with our accountability coach. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to check in with that person. We're going to check in each week, and we're going to, first thing is to, you know, go over the 2 things. So we'll kind of go through, do a role play at the end. But like, for example, Lisa chose, she was going to, said, I'm going to talk to 2 people every day, and I'm going to send out a weekly newsletter. Okay, those are 2 things. So first thing is we say, okay, so how did you do on those 2 things?
Well, one of them I executed well. The weekly newsletter went out and it was great. And
you get any results from it?
And I got results from it. So, but the talking to 2 new people a day, I failed.
Okay. So that's the first thing you do is you just acknowledge the broken commitment and you drop the excuses and the sorry. So we love to make excuses and to explain why it didn't
I had
happen.
a really busy week last week.
Or we like to make up stories, and we tell ourselves stories to make us feel better. This isn't about shaming or about, oh yeah, I didn't do it, and it's just either you did it or you didn't do it. Just don't worry about explaining why. Okay. The next thing is get the impact that it had on you and on other people. So like Lisa, so you said you were going to talk to 2 new people every day. You
Yes.
didn't do that.
No.
What was the impact on you and your business from not doing it?
From not doing it, my business didn't grow like I wanted it to last week.
Okay.
And I wasn't able to share our amazing products with anybody.
So that would be the impact on others. So the impact on you and your business was
it didn't grow.
It didn't grow. How about other things on you? Maybe did you feel really good about yourself when you look back on your week?
No, because I knew I fell out of integrity with that commitment.
Yeah, so you felt kind of bad about yourself. Did you want to kind of shame yourself? Or, yeah, and it's not about that. It's just about, did I
realizing
do it?
it?
Yeah, recognizing it, and it did in fact impact me and my business. Now the impact it had on others would be, like you said, the people that might have learned about Thrive or Ruby or whatever, or the business opportunity or whatever it is, didn't get a chance to learn that, right? The 2 people every day you could have shared it with didn't have that benefit, right?
Exactly.
Okay, number 3 is either drop the commitment or recommit to it. So you just get to determine here, is this something you're basically reevaluating? So Lisa, you said you were going to talk to 2 people every day. You didn't do it.
Right.
So I'm like her accountability partner. You said you were going to do it. You didn't do it. Do you feel like that's something you want to continue with?
Yes,
Okay.
I do. But
Okay.
I think that maybe 2 a day is maybe too many.
Okay.
And so I'd like to drop it to 1.
Okay.
And when I get in a groove of 1, then maybe I can up it to 2.
Okay. So that's a really important thing. You want to set something that's really realistic, that you can do it. It's not a pie in the sky. It's not shoot for the stars. It's just, okay, I know with a little bit of effort I can do this. So she's decided, you know what, 2 maybe is just a little bit much every single day to do that. So she's going to do 1. So you get the chance here to either recommit, maybe you just change it a little bit and you recommit, or she could just say, you know what, I decided that's not something that I want to do. And so I'm going to drop it. And she drops it, she gets to add something different. Okay. So she's recommitted that she's going to do it. So then the final step is to create a new structure. So Lisa, what was your structure around talking to, what was your process or your method or your plan to talk to 2 people every day last week?
Well, my original plan was to get on the phone and go through some old past people that I have on list, but I didn't really have a day or a time.
Okay, so your structure maybe was lacking. You planned to call 2 people every day, but you didn't really have a structure, right? So what could be a structure that you could implement in this coming week that would, maybe try something different?
Right, so I think that planning a time and I've chosen every day at 1 o'clock, I'm going to call 5 people because I feel like I have to call 5 to talk to maybe 1.
Okay.
So,
and how are you going to remind yourself to do that every day at 1?
I'm going to set a reminder in my calendar.
Okay. You're going to block
so whatever
out,
I'm doing, I have to stop and do.
You're going to block out that time in your calendar. Okay, so there's the new structure. So it doesn't have to be something super complicated. She's just going to make a little structure for herself to help her do this. So she's going to block out the time in her calendar. She's going to set a reminder, so that thing's going to pop up every day, and then she's got the time blocked out so she can't schedule over it. So that's all it is. It's basically just those 4 steps, and you can do it really fast, especially once you become good at this. This is something, and I'm constantly doing this now every week, and I do it with my accountability partner, but I also am now doing this on my own, and you can do it in every aspect of life. It could be in fitness, maybe you decide I wanna exercise, for 30 minutes 3 times a week, and you could go through this process with yourself of determining, did I meet that? And or it could be in spirituality or health or whatever area. It can be in your business, but it can be in other things as that you want. And I kind of call it the integrity check-in. And so let's just, I want to kind of, now we kind of drug that out and made it kind of long, but just talk real quickly. Let's just go through it again, and just see, just so we can kind of demonstrate just the flow of it a little bit faster. Okay, so we get on the phone. Hey, Lisa, how you doing?
Great, Jeff. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. So last week, your commitment was that you were going to talk to 2 people every day and that you were going to send out a weekly newsletter. So how did that go?
Well, I did pretty well on the newsletter. I completely failed on the talking to 2 new people a day, or 2.
Excuse.
And I had this really busy week.
All right, wait, oh. Drop the excuse, drop the sorry.
Okay.
Just acknowledge.
Okay. So I acknowledge that I failed on where I was going to call 2 new people.
Okay. So how did that impact you and those other people?
I didn't get to talk to them. I didn't get to share the love of Thrive, and it impacted my business because my business didn't grow last week.
Okay, good. And so do you feel like that's something that you want to keep trying to do every week?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's a good thing for me to do. I just need to dedicate the time, not let things get in the way, and focus.
Okay, so how are you going to go about what process or structure?
So I've decided I'm just going to put it in my calendar. I've decided on 1 o'clock is a really good time after lunch for me. Just hit it hard. And I'm talking to 5 new people, hopefully to talk to 1. And 1 a day is my goal, to talk to 1 new person about Thrive or Ruby every single day.
Okay, awesome. So that's basically all of it. So I know it seems like a simple thing, but this is something where every single week you can reevaluate your week and just keep tweaking things. You don't need to make huge changes. You just need to make little tweaks. Let's just say next week, Lisa comes back and says, you know what, I did it 3 days, but I didn't do it every day, and we just, so what happened? Well, I said I was going to do it at 1, but I accidentally scheduled a doctor's appointment, 1 day. And so I did, whatever it is. And you can just each week keep tweaking and keep adding new structures or tweaking your structure to figure out what works. And if it doesn't work, toss it aside and try something else. That's the biggest thing here.
But my accountability partner didn't ask me about my win last week.
What's your win?
My win was the newsletter. And you didn't ask me about.
We talked about that. Okay.
The success is there. So don't just focus on.
So how did that impact your business?
I got a couple new deliveries out of it. So I was happy about that.
Good. And you didn't not talk to anybody last week.
Right.
You just do it every day like you said you were going to. You
Yes.
did talk to people.
Yes.
And you got a couple of calls today, follow-up calls with people, right?
Yes.
So it wasn't a total failure, but it's just a way to just keep tweaking.
Right.
So just to kind of review, choose 2 things every week, or choose 2 things this week, and then next week reevaluate it. And if both of them are working, if you decide to keep both of those things, even if they're not working, you might, like Lisa, you might say, you know what, I said I was going to talk to 2 people. It didn't really work very well, but I want to keep doing that. You still want to add something new, okay? And then if something's not working, drop it, replace it with something new. So what's going to happen is each week you're going to be adding new things, dropping things that aren't working. And as you go by after a few weeks, you're going to find that you start identifying things that can really help you increase your business, and you'll just be tossing aside the things that aren't. And that's going to allow you to just continuously improve and make constant improvement in your business. And that's really the answer to growing it.
Yeah. And I mean, if you're getting results, then you want to keep those things.
Yeah.
Because you want to grow those results.
Yeah. Yep. And then, but don't ever sit back and say, okay, everything's good. I've got what I need and I don't need to add anything new. You want to constantly, that's the thing is you're constantly looking for new things you can do to make improvements.
Right.
Okay, so that's kind of all we wanted to cover on that. Just want to take a couple minutes here in the end that Ruby. Hopefully you guys are really seeing the potential of Ruby and the benefits. Hopefully you guys are doing the Ruby challenge. I know we have been. We did it a little bit when Ruby first came out, but then we got into the holidays and we still kept drinking the Ruby, but maybe weren't doing the other things to really get the benefits. But since the beginning of the year, we've really been doing it well. I think I'm down 12 pounds in about 5 weeks, and Lisa's down, 18 pounds since she started, part of it this year, part of it from before, but we're just seeing huge benefits. That's the huge thing about Ruby, is to create your story, right? You got to be using it, and you can kind of create your own story and then gather stories from others about the benefits. And we had a call with Jason Norton last week and kind of talking about some things, and this is really kind of changing the business, right?
Yes.
It's almost like a new company. And you can treat Ruby as an add-on, and you can still, if you're really, really big, if you have a lot of people in the food storage space, you can still, or just the Thrive food space, that's still a really strong product line that we have. But what we've started to do is lead with Ruby, right? Because it's a really easy thing that a lot of people recognize the benefits. Everybody knows that it's important to get a lot of fruits and vegetables, but most people have a hard time doing it. And starting next week, we're going to start talking about more how to start sharing, how to talk about that. But just today, I just want to encourage everybody to create your own story, gather stories from family and customers and other people, so that when you talk to someone and you find out what their struggles are around food, you have some stories in your back pocket that you can start sharing. And what Jason was saying was they're starting to see things where people who never had any interest in the Thrive Life business have interest in Ruby. Because it's such a broad market and appeals to everyone, and so many people are struggling with getting the right amount of fruits and vegetables and the proper fruits and vegetables and the nutrition that they want. And everybody recognizes this is a struggle. We've talked about different struggles that people had around food for years and how Thrive could help, but I feel like it was a little bit harder sell, or a bigger jump to get them to understand, going from buying at the grocery store to using Thrive in their everyday cooking. It was easier to get consultants to do that, but harder to get customers to do it. Deal with Ruby, it's something where people automatically just say, oh yeah, that totally makes sense.
So I feel in a way we've turned it on its head. So basically we lead with Ruby, and then icing on the cake is food storage and healthy eating. But once they feel the benefits of Ruby, I feel like they'll buy into the other part of the business, which is this great freeze-dried food that we have. So
kind of our strategy is to lead with Ruby, get them hooked on Ruby, and then start introducing them to foods that they could start incorporating into their families' meals and things like that, and all our other product lines, which are wonderful. So we're going to start talking about that in the next coming weeks. But basically what Jason was telling us is people who are real leaders, business leaders, and want to grow a really big business are coming to Ruby, and it's opening a lot of doors that we maybe weren't so easy to open before.
Right.
A lot of business leaders are talking to him and interested in getting involved because they see this as a huge market out there.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if we're going to start talking about that, how to incorporate Ruby and really use that to really grow your business and
we're also going to start talking about Empower, that is coming up in March, and how we need to get our teams together, and we've got some meeting spots already where people are gathering people. So I know Katie, you're invited to my house, and we're going to have a big group here. So we're excited about that. I need to talk to some Canadians because Tracy, I think, you know, somebody's going to be up there in your area where you can join up. And Laurel, hey, we need somebody in Texas that could gather the.
Wait, didn't Laurel move
No,
from
you're
Texas?
in Arizona. That's right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But,
so that's going to be a big thing. The Empower is going on March 21st, right?
Right.
It's a Saturday. It's going to be an all-day thing. It's going to be live streamed, but it's going to be very interactive. And so you can watch it on your own, but it's going to be so much more powerful and so much more beneficial if you do it with a group. And so we're trying to get people to gather all over North America for like watch parties to watch this, because you're going to be engaging, you're going to be working together, you're going to strategizing, things like that. And there's going to be some huge announcements. If you think Ruby was a big thing, there's some new announcements that are going to even make this even better. And so you're really going to want to set aside that day to be involved. But if you have somebody in your area who's doing somebody's shouted in, who's doing a watch party, great. If you're not doing a watch party, if nobody in your area is doing a watch party, then maybe do one yourself. Tracy says, I'll be with Kathy and Sandy, gonna be amazing. So Tracy's already planning, you know, getting together with other people. So that's, you know, whether it's you or one or two people or a whole room full of people, whatever you can get, but it's going to be very worthwhile and very beneficial to
very
your business.
impactful to your business. So
Yeah.
I think that it will be fun. Laurel, you're in Arizona, and I know Jody Wise is going down there. So wherever they're meeting up, we're going to start posting these watch parties on Million Dreams team. So get your team to kind of go in the area where they're at. We're like Melissa Coombs is hosting one out in South Carolina. I've just been talking to different leaders that want to host, that are trying to gather consultants, customers to their homes to watch this. So we're excited about it. There's going to be a lot that they're announcing, and just will be super impactful to your business. So we're really excited about it.
Yep. So yeah, we're going to wrap it up there. If there are any last questions, chat them in. If not, like I said, we're trying to keep these to about 30 minutes, so they're quick and to the point, but hopefully things that you can take away and implement immediately to improve your business. That's what it's all about, really, is continuous improvement. I know I mentioned in the beginning that Thrive Life uses this process, and you know, Thrive Life has gone through its ups and downs and challenges with you know, things working great and things not working so great.
We're still working on our shipping.
Yeah, but that's what continuous improvement is all about. It would be really easy to just get kind of working okay or working well, and then just say, okay, we got it, we're done. Just let it cruise along. But the problem with that is you're either moving forward or you're moving backwards. And when you are implementing new things constantly, you're going to make mistakes and you're going to have issues with things. And that's part of what this evaluation and reevaluation is all about, is assessing what's working and what's not, and then tweaking it. And you know, Thrive Life as a company does that. We need to do it as consultants. And I know that if we do that, then we can all see breakthroughs in our business this year. Okay. So thanks for being on with us this week, and we will talk to you again next week.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.